Caritas Christi urget nos. The love of Christ compels us. These words of St. Paul describe the mission of the Alexian brothers around the world, and are words that the brothers have lived for over 700 years. They are words that drive their mission even today. The love of Christ. What other inspiration could have drawn the brothers over the centuries to the bedsides of plague victims, to the ditches outside of towns where lepers congregated, to the mentally ill, to the gallows to comfort criminals, and to the stakes where women, condemned as witches, were about to die?
I am an Alexian brother. I'm a man as human and sinful as any other man. However, I'm a man with an experience of God. I feel called in a special way to share the peace and joy which He gives me. I feel especially called to share His good news with the sick and the poor.
The earliest Alexian brothers carried the bodies of plague victims to Christian burial. The shovel depicted on their coat of arms bears witness to this service. Today, the brothers still honor the passage from life to death.
Highway to Heaven is, I think, in my own words, the last expression of dignity we can offer a person who's been in a long-term care facility. I'd hear stories about people who had died being whisked out the back door by the delivery entrance with a body bag, and everybody hushed in their rooms. We decided that there had to be a better way of doing that. When the funeral director comes, he no longer goes to the back door, he goes to the front door now, and parks right in front of where everybody else comes in and out. A small announcement is made, Highway to Heaven from room 312 or something like that, in 5 minutes. And those staff members who are available, and also residents who want to participate, are welcome to go down to that area. When the director comes out with the deceased resident, the leader will lead the procession out to the front door, right through the front door. Grant that we may hold his memory dear and live in hope of the eternal kingdom where you will bring us together again. We ask all of these things in your holy name. We say a very short prayer, very short ecumenical prayer, and we all wait there until the hearse drives off. That's what we call our last expression of dignity.
The brothers also believe that even the belongings of the deceased must be treated with reverence and respect.
I was told that in the past the practice was just to take a bag, a plastic bag, and just put the clothing in the plastic bag, and when the family member came, just give it to them.
What are we really saying? Again, this is a member of our throwaway society. We went ahead and had small boxes printed up. They're white with the brothers' crest put on the side of them. All their belongings are very gently handled. They're packaged with tissue paper, and they're shown respect as they should be.
It's a dignity issue, definitely a dignity issue. It's just a nicer way of doing things.
For this Catholic religious order of brothers, the ministry of health care, especially for the poor, has been unbroken since the 13th century.
I'm an Alexian brother. I've taken seriously Jesus' words, "Come follow me," by freely vowing poverty, chastity, and obedience. I believe in His power working through me and listen to His word. I believe in the healing power of kind words and deeds.
The Alexian Brothers ministry began in the Middle Ages. Small groups of men and women banded together to carry out Christ's commands. They would tend the sick, feed the hungry, bury the dead. From a handful of anonymous laymen along the Rhine and in the Low Countries of Holland and Belgium, the Alexian Brothers grew. In 1347, the Black Death, a horrible plague, struck Europe. Thousands died painfully as their families abandoned them. But the brothers refused to flee, risking their lives and sometimes losing them. They stayed to nurse the victims, to care for their sores, and to bury them. The numbers of brothers began to grow. In 1472, they at last became a true religious congregation. They were called cellites, both for the graves they dug and also for the small monastic rooms in which they lived. The brothers adopted the rule of St. Augustine, and for the patron of their first chapel, they chose the early Roman saint Alexius. The brothers identified with this young man who fled a life of luxury to serve the poor. They soon became known to those who worshipped in their chapel as the Brothers of St. Alexius. In 1865, Brother Bonaventure Thalen came from Germany to begin the work of the Alexian Brothers in this country. He began the healing mission in Chicago at a small frame house on the city's north side. This became the first Alexian hospital. Its first patient was a man he found lying in a ditch. From Chicago, the order spread throughout the United States. Today, the brothers operate acute care hospitals, serve the elderly in daycare centers, operate continuing care residences for the elderly, and minister to those with AIDS. In recent years, the brothers have opened a medical mission in the Philippines, as well as a foundation serving the poor elderly in Hungary. Community binds the brothers together. Wherever they minister, the brothers live together and find support in a regular prayer life, common meals, laughter, and presence. Today, the brothers continue to serve those most in need, the poor, the aged, the sick and dying, those who exist on the fringes of society. Their commitment is one of time and attention to those they serve.
I like to use this analogy. Everybody knows what a doctor and a nurse is. A doctor sees a patient maybe once a week, writes a prescription, dispenses some medication, and then comes back the following day or the next week. On the other hand, the nurse is with the patient most of the day, most of the night. To me, that seems to be more nurturing, more personal, more relational. It's a very nurturing experience both ways.
At the moment of birth, or when death is near, through lonely days of illness, in struggles with alcohol or drugs or pain, when darkness and poverty seem overwhelming to people, the brothers are there. In the spirit of the men who came before them and the many who will come after them, today's Alexian brothers are always found with those who need their brotherhood the most.
I am an Alexian brother. I am a radiating power and influence, sometimes in obvious ways, sometimes in hidden ways. I affect my brothers. I affect the people with whom I work. Here and now, I influence people, institutions, and the world around me. I am an Alexian brother.
I'm an Alexian brother.
I'm an Alexian brother.
I am an Alexian brother.
I'm an Alexian brother.
I'm an Alexian brother.
I am an Alexian brother.
I am proud to be an Alexian brother.